Oh! That is unbelievable. Oh, hi there. And welcome to Cooking with Kev, the cooking show where I cook food on the World Wide Web, on YouTube, in video format, for your pleasure and enjoyment on your own cooking at home. On this show I make real food for real people that you can make in your real kitchen with real utensils, real ingredients that you buy at a real grocery store in your real town. Maybe you can invite some real people over to enjoy that real food in real good company. Today on Cooking with Kev, we're going to be making that quintessential dish, that taste sensation, that party in your mouth, something made with just little tiny noodles about that big, combined with a delicious cheese powder that is just out of this world. Today we're going to be making macaroni and cheese, so I hope you stick around. Hi, welcome back. Macaroni and cheese. That quintessential Canadian food. That food that brings people together. You know, that reminds people of being a kid again. You know, that dish that should be a national dish. It really should be, because it makes people happy. And what better kind of food to represent a country than something that makes people happy. There's absolutely nothing better than that, in my opinion. Now today we're going to be making macaroni and cheese, but this isn't your grandmother's homemade macaroni and cheese or your mom's homemade mac and cheese. No, we're not doing homemade here on Cooking with Kev. If you're looking for a homemade recipe for macaroni and cheese, I mean, you could probably find some in a book, maybe, like a cookbook. You might find some recipes online. There are some, I think there are some cooking websites on the internet, so you might be able to find a good homemade mac and cheese recipe there. And if you do find it, share it with us. I won't make it, but perhaps some of our viewers at home might be interested in that. So please feel free to share it below this post. Our mac and cheese comes out of a box. And that's where it belongs. That's where it lives. That's where the quintessential Canadian dish should be and should come from. Is a box. A blue box with yellow lettering. Hear that? That's a joyous sound. Let's get cooking. Alright, here we have our ingredients all lined up and prepared and ready to go. We've got our noodles right here, our cheese powder, a little bit of butter, and a little bit of milk. And that's all you need to make this most wonderful, wonderful meal. Now, the keen-eyed of you out there are going to notice two things that are a bit different about this setup, especially if you've ever made mac and cheese before. First off, this is not macaroni. Huh? Well, it's spirals. Spirals is way better than macaroni. I don't know why. They're basically made out of the exact same thing, but they taste better, and they're fun to eat. You know, they spring around a little bit on your fork. Or if you use a spoon, just as good. Anyway, it's way better, and it cooks quicker too. So we're using spirals. If you're into macaroni, that's cool. In fact, the word macaroni is one of my favorite words. Macaroni. But spirals, way better. Okay, you'll also notice the cheese powder. You're probably thinking, wow, that's an awful lot of cheese powder. No way that came out of one box of mac and cheese. Well, it didn't. This came out of 2 boxes of mac and cheese. This is the secret to macaroni and cheese. 2 boxes worth of cheese powder per 1 box of noodles. It's the only way to go. Now, it does mean you're going to end up with a surplus of noodles that doesn't have any cheese with it. But perhaps you have friends that like noodles and like making other stuff out of it. Maybe you can try that homemade version of mac and cheese and just reuse those noodles. You can use noodles for, you know, pretty much anything. So save them or give them to a friend. What's that? Oh, why don't you just go to one of these bulk food places and buy the cheese powder? No, don't do that. Don't ever do that, because it tastes like... I'm just being honest with you here. This is real talk. I've tried it. It's not the same. The cheese powder has to come out of the box. It's the only way. 2 boxes worth of powder, 1 box of noodles. Mwah. Okay, first step. Get some water on the go. Depending on your pot, you might want to go, let's say halfway. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, now we're going to put that sucker on to boil. Right up to maximum. Alright, our water is boiling. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. Alright, let's throw in some noodles. Bam, just toss those noodles in there. Might want to give it a bit of a stir. There we go. Now we just wait for that to cook. Alright, very likely this is going to happen at some point. There's a couple of remedies for it. People say you should put like a wooden spoon across it and that'll stop it. Other people say squirt a bit of vinegar in there. But what I like to do is just blow on it. It makes you an active participant in the cooking. It gives you something to do. And then you don't have to worry about having a spoon across it or putting vinegar in your noodle soup. There we go. Let's blow again. Real easy. Plus, you get to watch the noodles then boiling around. Almost time to blow again. Lovely. This is going to take no time at all. And once you suspect that your noodles are cooked, and I suspect that these are, I'm going to take those off and give them a bit of a strain. Alright, here we go. Be very careful with this because it can be dangerous, especially if you've got a little strainer. You can easily burn yourself, so just be careful. We don't want to lose any of those great noodles. Pour them right in there. Do this a couple of times, especially if there's people watching, because it looks really good. There we go. And then we're going to pour that whole thing right back into the pot. Just like that. Alright, now for the fun part. Let's start adding some ingredients to this. So, first of all, I'm going to toss in our milk. Just throw it in there. Going to toss in a bit of butter. Actually, I'm going to toss it all in. There we go. Mix that around so that the butter melts and makes the noodles all nice and buttery and milky. Shouldn't take too long. or it'll get stuck to your utensil just like that. In which case, you just have to keep stirring. Especially if there are people around, stirring is important. All right, and now the piece de resistance, cheese powder. Don't put it all in at the one time. Do a little half and half thing. Okay. Stir, stir, stir. It's pretty good. Let's put the rest in, shall we? Yeah, just dump it in there. Look at that. This is going to be the most delicious, cheesiest macaroni and cheese you've ever had. Make sure to get all that cheese powder that sticks to the side. You don't want to waste any of that deliciousness when it could be coating your noodles. And I love a coated noodle. Looking good. Yeah. Now, I actually like occasionally to have a little tiny bit of the cheese not completely dissolved. I like having a little bit of a little tiny cheese bite in there occasionally. It tastes good. It's like a little surprise for your mouth while you're eating it. All right. And there we have it. Perfection in a bowl. Look at how good that looks. That is just cheesy, cheesy deliciousness. This doesn't even need a garnish. No garnish necessary because it tastes just as good on its own and it looks just as good. However, if you do want to fancy it up a little bit, all you gotta do is add some nice chopsticks. Because eating macaroni and cheese with chopsticks is actually really fun. Looks great. And it prevents you from you know, just gobbling it all up in 30 seconds and getting sick. So, if you want to fancy it up, add some chopsticks. In fact, you can add chopsticks to just about anything to make your meal look cooler. Oh, hi. And thanks for joining me today on Cooking with Kev. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you had a lot of fun too, making your macaroni and cheese. I know I've already eaten mine, and it was it was a little bit of paradise. It really was. Before we go, I'm going to answer a question from a viewer. We did have a question/comment on the last video, and perhaps I can help this guy out. This is a question from John Dobbin. It's a good name, very strong name. Hey Kev, I've been having trouble with this for years, and I hope someone with your cooking experience can help. Well, I certainly hope I can with my cooking experience. So, here it is. How do you make Alfredo sauce less... How do I overcome my fears? Help. Well, you know, I don't know much about Alfredo sauce. Not a fan of it myself. So I don't know, I don't make it. I don't know how to make it less, that word you use to describe it there on the internet for everybody to see. Well, you know what? If your guests like Alfredo sauce, they're people who like it tend to like it no matter how it looks, really. But if you're afraid of it, my advice would be to start cooking with a nice marinara sauce. You can't go wrong with marinara. Ever, really. Use that stuff with anything. Alfredo, some gray areas there, but considering you're fearful of it and of what it may look like, I would steer clear. That's coming straight from me, straight from here. Well, that's all we have time for today on Cooking with Kev. Please like, favorite, and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of Cooking with Kev, and please leave some comments and I'll make sure to answer them on air. And if you do subscribe to the channel, there might be a little contest coming up in the near future, so be sure to keep an eye out, as they say. Perhaps even 2 eyes out on these videos as often as you can, and with as many people as you can. Maybe you can have a party and watch them. Alright, we'll see you again soon.